Hello and welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well today. I know I am. We are getting ready to get started here with our Friday focus. So, hopefully, you will put a note in the comments where you are joining us from. Let me know where this live stream's getting and where you are joining us from. Looks like we're getting a couple people joining us in the live stream. If you could do me a huge favor and let me know where you're joining us from. Looks like we got some folks from Illyria, some from Medina. Let me know where the rest of you guys are from. If you are just joining us, do me a favor and put a note in the live stream where you are joining us from. All right, all right. Hopefully, you guys are having a great morning. Welcome to the Friday Focus. This is, I mean, all these live streams are my favorite, but this one has a little place in my heart because I'm a news hound. I love keeping on top of what's going on in the photographic industry. I think it's just a great industry to follow, and that's what brings us all together. So I wanted to say hi to some people that are joining us. So it looks like Eric Woody from Elyria. How's it going, Eric? Hope you're doing well. Looks like Michael is joining us from Medina. Hello, Michael. Melissa, how's it going? I hope you and the family are doing well. Hope you guys are doing great. If you need anything from me, let me know. Hello, hello, hello. CR Curtin from Canton, Michigan. Oh yeah, you've been here a couple days. Thank you for coming back on Friday for my favorite live stream. And then Melissa says, "Hi, Trent." So hey, I just wanted to connect you guys. She says hello. So it's been a great week. Hopefully you guys are having a good week, getting ready to go into the weekend. If you looks like we have some Ohio folks in here, and this weather is crazy. As I was told yesterday, it's Ohio. You should be used to this. But this morning I walked out and there's like snow on the car. I don't know what to think. I thought we were like into spring and ready to roll, but apparently not. Ohio and the weather has different plans. So let's jump into it today. The Friday Focus. So this is basically to bring you kind of the news and trends, but today we have a couple bonuses going on. So at the end, we're going to talk about some deals that are going on this weekend. They are not public yet. I wanted to bring them to you guys first, since you hang out with me every day. I wanted to make sure you were the first ones, and then also our contest winner will be at the end as well. We had some great submissions, and we're going to talk about that towards the end, and then we'll talk about some hints on what next week's theme is so you guys can get started. So first, some housekeeping notes. We are still open from 1 to 5 every day but Sunday. So if you need absolutely anything from us, feel free to reach out. We actually just added live chat on our website as well. So we're all taking turns kind of monitoring that. So if you do have a question about a product or where to find something, just go right on that chat, just like a lot of the big websites have, and you can start chatting with one of us. And what's cool, it's not some, call center or anything like that. It's photographers that are talking to you. We all shoot in the store, whether it's photo or video. So the information that you're getting from that live chat is just like if you were walking in the store. So, even though we can't be together face to face in the store hanging out, we still want to answer any questions that you might have. Also, if you have some ideas for any live streams coming up, again, we do these every day at noon. If you have any ideas for some upcoming live chats or live streams that you want to talk about, please let me know. Just even in the comments here, or if you want to direct message me, that's absolutely okay. A note about the PPA, if this is your first time joining us, the PPA has opened up all of their content for the month of April. So we are a couple days in, looks like about 10 days in into April, and all the content that is on there, it's just from macro to portrait to competition to business. There's so much free content that they have opened up for you guys. Normally it's behind like a $30 to $40 paywall. So definitely urge you to go over there and just take it, watch a couple things. Maybe it's a new skill that you want to work on. But again, PPA, the professional organizations that support us, they hold near and dear to my heart because that's kind of where I came through the photography, kind of came up. That was my upbringing, being part of the state board, which is the Professional Photographers of Ohio. And then also later on being the president of the Akron Society of Professional Photographers. It means the world to me, these organizations. I feel like that it makes us just a better community of photographers. So what are our goals for today? Number one is to update you on what's going on in the photography world, like what you might have missed with all the other news that's kind of dominating the news cycle. What else is going on out there? So that's my goal, is to update you guys and also share some tutorials and some cool inspirational things that I found in hopes that you'll be inspired this weekend. Again, my biggest goal is to pull you away from the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt, the FUD, if you will, because there's a lot going on, with the updates. It sounds like we're getting better. I mean, it sounds like we've starting to flatten that curve here in Ohio. But again, it's going to still be a little while until we can still hang out and be face to face. And my goal is to pull you away from that. This is like the last time I want to talk about, what's going on, because I want to pull you away from that and remind you that you have this awesome hobby called photography, or business of photography. And just because it's, you can't, be hands on and doing your normal thing right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's over. I want you guys to just be inspired to shoot something and get out and do something that you absolutely love. Also, I might get you out of your comfort zone. Again, that's my end goal, is to, especially with the live streams, the rest of the week where you were actually learning some hardcore content, is to get you outside of your comfort zone to try something new. So let's jump into the news block. So I do have this, I have my Rodecaster and I was starting to load like sound effects. So come back next week. I have some drum rolls. I have, I'm trying to bump this up for you. I tell you guys, I'm trying to create the best live stream possible. So like the news block, I'm going to do like this futuristic news thing. So lots of ideas coming for you guys. I want to make this fun and inviting. So I'm going to jump over and see if anybody else has joined us. Jason says hello. And then our friend Jim Summers, better late than never. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, man. So let's go on to the news block. So number one is Lumix S1 and S1R firmware update. So not a huge update, some small changes, but I wanted to let the S users know that there was an update, more specifically on the frame rate side. So if you're not a video person, there's certain frame rates or certain technologies that are used in the US, and then there are some that are in other parts of the world, and that is NTSC and PAL. The biggest differentiator there is the frame rates in which things refresh. So if you shoot something here and try to play it back over there, chances are you're going to have a lot of weird things happen. So it's kind of like if you took a picture of or held a video camera up to an old CRT monitor where you'd see like those lines going through. That similar thing, it's because of the refresh rate. So that was now added. So why is this important? This is important for filmmakers that are not just staying in the US, that are doing more worldwide things. They don't have to buy a certain camera to shoot that content. They can now do it with the camera that they already have. So this is a really big update for those, filmmakers and those photographers that needed that built in. And then there are also some other features that were peppered in, some fixes, things like that. And a link for all these are available. If you go to our website, scroll all the way to the bottom, you can sign up for our newsletter. And I send all this stuff out on Friday night. So you can get all the links from everything today by just going to thepixelconnection.com and then scrolling down. So another interesting thing, and I promised that I wasn't going to talk about the coronavirus, but it's affecting all of us, obviously. But I thought this was really interesting. So it was recently announced that Japan put out a stimulus bill, similar to what we're doing here in the US, in which they're doing money for different companies. So in their stimulus, which is really interesting, is they're actually going to push production out of China. So that's something that the US has been doing now for the last, I don't know, a couple years. They've really been pushing, the administration's been pushing to get more of the production brought to the US or even just outside of China to kind of, fix some supply issues when stuff like this happens. So it'll be interesting to see how the camera manufacturers kind of react to this. So I know that there are companies out there like Olympus, for example. A lot of their production is done in Vietnam, and they're less affected when stuff happens like in China, whether that's the trade war. For them, like they were not unaffected, because obviously that affected everyone, and they still have some things in China, but they were less affected. So I think we're going to see a lot of the camera companies who are based in Japan, which is most of them, move some of their facilities outside of China just so they can utilize some of this stimulus funding. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. So what are some things to expect from a change like this? Well, there's going to be shortages on some items. Now, we don't know what they are. Obviously, you could tell when something would happen in the marketplace. So let's say a tsunami hit a certain part of a certain country. All of a sudden, certain cameras, were on back order or they couldn't get supply. It's because that sensor, let's say for a random Nikon camera, now we know that that was a Sony sensor that was, created in that area that was affected by the tsunami. So I think those same things are going to happen in, are, for what we have now, that's lenses, cameras, accessories, we'll probably see a little bit of a shortage. But time will tell, and it could be no manufacturers take advantage of this. None of the camera companies will take advantage of this. They might say, hey, we're doing good things. We have plenty of, we don't need that stimulus money, but it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. So moving on. So this should probably be in the rumor area, but there was only really two big rumors that came out this week. This one, which is the FCC filing for possibly a new DJI Mavic Air 2 with a much larger battery. So the Mavic Air has been super successful, small, lightweight. And I remember from like when I first got my first drone, it was a 3D Robotics that I bought from the Pixel Connection. I mean, wingspan total was like that big. It was like that deep. And like you really needed to have a pilot's license to run it. And now like I have my little tiny Spark. Look how small, I could literally, if I had like those big baggy, like Jinko jeans from like the 90s, I could put this in my back pocket, but this is nice just to throw in a bag and get all those awesome drone shots. It looks like we're doing, it's taking the next step with the new Mavic Air 2 is a larger battery, because that's one of the complaints. We love flying drones, but we hate having to land them and switch out batteries, and batteries aren't cheap. So it'll be nice for like Mavic Air 2 to have that larger battery, so that way it can have a little bit more flight time. So it looks like a Mavic Air 2 is right around the bend. So let's see if we have a lot of people joining here. So hello, Josh Hildebrand. I do want to do a shout out to Josh. He actually lives about 15 minutes from me. He's doing some awesome stuff with 3D printing and creating face shields. I don't know how many he's up to a week, but he's getting them out to all the local manufacturers. He's a Lumix shooter as well. But I did want to kind of give him a shout out because he's doing his part for COVID-19. He's working with local schools too that have 3D printers, and obviously, those kids aren't there using them. So he's kind of turned this into a distributed production of PPE material. So shout out to him. Just a great dude. Shoots Lumix, does a lot of skateboard vlogs if you look for him on YouTube. So just wanted to gush a little bit because I was just so inspired by the stuff that he's doing. Brian, little thumbs up. Hey, Brian, hope you're doing well. Mike from Copley. Hey, Mike, hope you're doing well too, man. Happy Friday, all, from Brian. And Isaac suggests just wear some cargo shorts. You don't like Jinkos? I think I would look good in Jinkos. Maybe not. Maybe not. And Isaac says Josh is a cool dude. So that's cool. I just wanted to kind of get that out of there, give credit where credit's due. So continuing on to the another firmware update that pushed out. I thought this one was really cool, and I really hope Sony and other manufacturers follow Canon's lead, if you will. So if you don't know, Canon, when you take the lens off the EOS R, the shutter closes so that way dust doesn't get onto the sensor. Well, it looks like with the new update to the A9 Mark II, they now built that in as well. So this is something that can obviously be done with firmware. So I would hope that other manufacturers kind of follow suit. I think this would help photographers keep dust off their sensors when they're making those kind of in between shoots, or when they're out on assignment, switching out those lenses, it'll keep that dust and debris away from the sensor. And there were some other updates out there. So if you are an A9 shooter, definitely update your camera for the latest bug fixes, but also this awesome new feature. So it seems like as soon as you unlock it, it'll actually put that over there. So when you pull it out, you don't get any dust in there. Thought that was pretty neat. So moving on, the 70 to 180, a little bit more Sony news today. The 70 to 180 has been announced with pre-orders now available. When I looked earlier, it's starting to ship beginning of May. I definitely urge you to, if you are interested even a little bit into this lens, with what we've seen as far as our supply chain, there was stuff that we ordered like 2 months ago that we're just starting to get in. And a hot item like this is going to, there's not going to be a ton of supply out there. So I would urge you, if this is something that you are interested in, I would urge you to pre-order. And that's not me working from a camera store asking you to spend money. I'm saying from a business owner to another, if this is a tool that you need in your business, this is something that I would definitely consider pre-ordering. I've also been looking at some of the reviews and some of the test footage. It's showing better sharpness, better autofocus, especially for video, than the Sony G Master. So Tamron continues to knock it out of the park. especially with these E mount or FE E mount lenses. So if you didn't know about it, go check it out. It's the 70 to 180 for all of my Sony shooters that are out there. Moving on, it looks like if you watch these, you know that I love my M series cameras. I shoot the M5 and the M6 Mark II. I have I'm thinking about the I think it's the M200 because of the live streaming capabilities. But there it looks like there is my prayers are answered. And I was actually talking to um, Sagi from Tech Gear Talk, and he uses the M a lot. And I was saying, like, I wish there was an M5 Mark II coming out because that's my favorite. I actually like my M5 more than I like my M6 Mark II. And it looks like that camera is coming as well as an M50 Mark II. It looks like they are going to be coming in late 2020. So these things have been, kind of rumored, but it looks like we're getting more and more information about the M line of cameras. Earlier, actually, I think last week on the Friday Focus, I kind of talked about some of the lenses that were coming out. So it looks like Canon's not abandoning the system. I know there's a lot of question in the marketplace whether this is a worthwhile system to pick up. And to be honest, that's all I took with me to Ireland. I just took the M5 and the M6 Mark II, and I took all but one of my lenses, and I have every lens that's available for the M system, and all of it packed into a small form factor. I got great quality. So it looks like Canon's not abandoning this system, which as a shooter, it's awesome for me. If you haven't taken a look at any of the M line, I definitely urge you to, especially if you're looking for small, lightweight, and you're already a Canon shooter, because you can adapt all your Canon glass kind of as you move over. But the size, compactness, it's really reminiscent of my Lumix, my G series, where I shot micro four thirds, and I loved it because it was small, compact, lightweight. Well, now I can get that same size footprint, but now with bigger sensor, a crop sensor. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So let's move on to the tutorials block. So I thought this was actually a really good tutorial. This was a gentleman did a live stream on, oops, wrong one. Let's jump over to this one. A gentleman did a live stream on how to use a flag. So a flag is used to block off some of the light. So let's say you have a light that you only want to affect part of the image. What you would do is you would put a kind of a block on there so it doesn't come past. So you can use a V flat. They actually make things that are called flags. They're a wire frame, and then they have the flag material in them. So that way you can control where that light hits your subject. Or if you're doing macro, you can control that, you can create like a triangle of light so it only hits a certain part of what you're shooting. This tutorial goes in depth with that, but it also goes in depth with showing some of the Photoshop things that helps you clean up the image. So again, this was, I want to say it was like a 20-minute tutorial, but it was super, super good quality. The guy knows what he's doing. He's from over in the UK, but it was a really good one, and I wanted to pass that along to you guys. I want to let you know that Sigma is actually doing a contest. So if you go over to their website, and I have a link in the presentation, looks like you use hashtag Sigma at home. So if we go over to that actual website itself, it'll have more of the actual information. So there's no purchase necessary, obviously. But what you want to use is that hashtag when you're sharing things, about that are kind of around you, or something that was shot at home. And this is and that's why I wanted to jump over to the website real quick. It's not just on Instagram. It's actually on I believe all different platforms. And then they also have a place where you can submit your photos as well on their website. So it's one of those like and follow type of contests where you can, they're asking you to just put your information in, like and follow them, and then they'll choose a winner. So if you're looking for something fun to do, we're also doing a contest that's very similar, but their prize pack is a little bit bigger, but you could win both. Why not try both? Get outside that comfort zone, try something new. So speaking of getting outside your comfort zone, I thought this was a really interesting project that this gentleman is doing. He's actually using FaceTime to create self-isolation portraits. So, he's working, and I mean, look at these images. It's crazy the quality of these images, and the fact that he is doing all of this with going through FaceTime with people. I mean, just super, super creative images. And again, it was kind of that wake up like, hey, you could still be out there creating, you can still be doing, awesome things with, even though you can't be near people. So I thought this was an awesome project to give you a little bit of inspiration, and it still helps you stay within the stay at home order. So that way you're not getting close to anybody, or social distancing, if you will. I wanted to let you know that Pi Jersa from DSLR Lounge and Trevor from Magmod came together and did a free Magmod lighting tutorial. Pi is somebody that I've been following for a long time. And if you ever do a search for like a lot of lighting stuff, specifically with like weddings, and do an image search, a lot of times you'll see like Pi and Jersa. Well, that's Pi from DSLR Lounge, or I'm sorry, SLR Lounge. And the information that he has, he's one of, Pro Photos top pros. He's sponsored by a lot of different companies. He knows his stuff when it comes to lighting. So I would urge you, if you're looking to up your lighting and talk about or try out the Magmod stuff that I talked to you about yesterday, I would urge you to go take a look at this. I want to say it's like 45-minute long tutorial about lighting specifically with Magmod. If you're looking for a little bit more food photography, I found this YouTuber before I was actually building the content for today's live stream, and I've subscribed to her because she has so many awesome tutorials about food photography. Being that I'm into fitness and starting, to get back into creating content around fitness and food and my journey, through weight loss and making healthier choices, I've been really, really researching food photography. And she is an amazing, amazing follow. She does videos on absolutely all parts of food photography. But in this one, I thought it was cool because it's using just a $200 camera. So she goes through and talks about how using just an entry level camera, you're able to create great food photography. So again, I urge you to check out this specific video, but also subscribe because there's so much good food photography related content on her channel. Also, our channel. So I went through and I organized all of our live streams from the last 2 or 3 weeks into one playlist, and I put that in a URL for you guys so you can go back through and watch and get that content that we put together for you. So if this is your first time and you're wondering like what we've covered in the past, just because they were live streams does not mean that they're gone forever. You can actually just go over to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/C for channel / the Pixel Connection, and you'll see all the content that we put together, and you'll see a playlist of all of these live streams. So jumping on from there, I wanted to let you guys know that we are doing a photography conference this summer, and actually we're going to offer you a awesome deal after a couple slides after I tell you a little bit about it. But it's Pixel Photo Fest, and it's meant to be a hands-on conference, which means you're coming to create. You're going to leave with images. It's not just one of those like in school where, you sat in a class, the bell rang, you moved on to the next one. It's not that at all. It is a hands-on conference, and we have some amazing speakers lined up for you. Some of the speakers include Vanessa Joy. So if you are on the internet at all and you've looked up anything with weddings or lighting, chances are you've seen Vanessa's stuff. I mean, she's a top-notch educator and a top-notch photographer. So she's going to be coming in. We have Aaron Anderson, which if you haven't checked out some of his work, he's going to be talking about cinematic portraiture, which if just go do a Google search for Aaron Anderson. A news article just came out not too long ago about some stuff that he did with the Olympic team, I believe it was. And it's just super high quality. He's another one of those photographers that just has an eye and a vision. And then when it comes to life, you're just like, dang, like, how did you even think about all of that? So Aaron Anderson, top notch. Jeff, he did 2 live streams with us this week. You can obviously tell that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to lighting. So he'll be joining us to do hands-on. Again, you're going to get images. You're going to get hands-on education that is not available anywhere else. Isaac Coffey, who's actually joining us in the chat right now, he's actually going to be doing some talks on senior photography, marketing, business, a little bit of everything. But if you haven't checked out his work, check out Coffee Creations. If you're looking for consistent, high quality senior portraits, definitely give him a look. He's also available for any questions. I know I see him post all the time for photographers. So if you have any questions, reach out to him. And then finally, Jen and Travis Stitt. So Jen and Travis have spoke at WPPI, Shutterfest. I believe they're speaking at Shutterfest this year. Top-notch wedding photographers from Philadelphia. And what I love about Jen and Travis is just their extreme confidence because they are so knowledgeable. They are the business who practiced before they hung out that shingle to say they were a business. So talk to them about post production. Oh my gosh, Jen could, they created specific color profiles, like got into the code for how they edit their photos, like locked in their cameras at a certain color. It's just, I'm a technical guy. Like I've written iPad apps and I've done web development, and the stuff they were talking about is like way up here. And then the creativity that they have, I mean, their bookkeeping is top notch. I mean, they are a true, tried and true commercial wedding photography business. And the way that they run their business is awesome. They're going to be talking a little bit about that. And then we're also going to have them on a live stream in about 2 weeks. So you'll get a kind of a sample for the knowledge that they have. And they're just all around awesome people. I mean, they're just fun to hang out with and talk to, and, you know, talk shop and talk life. So can't speak highly enough for them. So if you do want to join us at Pixel Photo Fest, you can save 100 bones by going to the website. Just do a Google search for Pixel Photo Fest, and you can put in the code lunch and learn to save $100. So that's half off the cost of the entrance to the conference. And again, it's 3 days of nonstop education. Also, if you want one-on-one help, we do have our virtual sessions available. So let's say you're wondering how to use the camera that you just picked up, or you have this flash, but you've never really set it up, or you don't know what all these weird numbers. What's a guide number? Anybody know what a guide number? Like if you don't know what that is, or you want to know what that is, or what these fractions are that keep showing up on your flash, set up a one-on-one. We'll sit down with you and go through and answer any questions that you have. And we do these virtually via Google Hangouts. So you just jump in with your webcam or with your phone, and we talk through kind of what you need and how we can help. Also, kind of what's going on this week. So on Monday, we're going to have Eric from Pro Photo for a little Q&A. So if you have any questions about lighting or Pro Photo, that'll be on Monday. On Tuesday, we're going to talk to our friend over at Tech Gear Talk about how to get started on YouTube, some tips and tricks, and what he's kind of learned along the way. On Wednesday, we have Bear from Sony. So he's going to do a whole tips and tricks class for Sony users. This is something that normally, if you came to the store, you'd have to pay for. He has been gracious enough to jump on the live stream with us and do that whole presentation. On Thursday, tentatively, we have Miguel. He has to make sure it's available kind of in his schedule, which I totally understand. And I'll keep you guys updated for, as any changes happen. And then finally, Friday, the Friday Focus. So this, again, on Friday, but with more of the news, reviews, all that fun stuff. So I do want to let you guys know, and you got to keep it down about these because we could get in trouble if like the world found out about these. So we do have a couple things. These are going to be some of our weekend sales. I went through all of our weekend sales and I found some of the better ones that I think are the biggest amount of savings. And that is the Sigma 85 1.4. $250, so it's down below $1,000. So if this is a lens that you've been looking at, the 85 is a phenomenal focal length, especially for portraits. I can't say enough about the Sigma lenses, and the fact that it's under $1,000 is absolutely awesome. And then finally, this portable speed light, the flash disc. So I tried to find mine, but I'm in the process of like rearranging the studio, so I couldn't. It's basically, if you've ever seen like the pop-up gray charts, so the where you have gray, white, and gray, white, and black. It's on one side, and then the other side, it's two of those put together. And then what happens is you put your speed light on it, and it'll actually create a little softbox for you. So you can see how your flash goes on the inside, and now you have this little portable softbox that is literally, I wish I had mine with me, it's literally about that big. So this is something that you could throw in your bag and have it at all times and create nice soft light, but also have that gray card. So why carry two different things when it can be accomplished with just one? So great savings on that item. And I think it's like 80% off. Yeah, normally $50. We have them for $10. So for $10, you're getting a gray card as well as a little softbox. So I might actually run to the store this weekend and pick up 2 more. So that way I have a set of 3 for a 3 light setup. But again, if you guys want them, I definitely urge you to get your order in. And that is available for curbside or shipping as well is available. There we go. I just made a word up. So you asked and we answered. So some people asked for some longer form online classes. So all next week, or starting next week, we have a full lineup of classes. And my plan is, depending on how many people are interested, is to do these kind of week by week. So that way they're going to continue on. So we have Lightroom Basics and Lightroom Advanced. So if you are wondering where to start with Lightroom, you can jump in on those. And they're about an hour long, but they could go longer depending on the questions that you I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat as well, Abel. As like if you have more questions, like we're just gonna hang out on the call until your questions were answered. So Lightroom Basics, Lightroom Advanced, Foundations and Lighting. So Foundations and Lighting is a course where we talk about the basics. So we talk about how light works, soft light versus hard light. What is high speed sync versus hyper sync versus high sync? Did you even know there was 3 different ways to get a higher shutter speed? There is, and we'll talk about all 3 of those, and TTL, explain how TTL works, and it's more of like the knowledge behind lighting. And then we'll talk about kind of the lighting patterns, the basic lighting patterns that you can look for, and kind of what they convey to your user. So that's the foundations class. Moving on from there, we have a learn to podcast. That should say podcast, not podcast. I'll have to get on our graphic designer on that one. But how to podcast. So I personally have 2 podcasts that I do, one about photography, one about fitness, and I want to share everything that I've learned along the way, the mistakes that I've made with you guys. So if you're wondering how you can get started creating a podcast with just your phone, jump into that class and we'll talk about how to, plan for it, how to create it, how to share it out there, how to promote it, and then how to monetize it. Those are all things that we talk about in that class. Photo 101 is kind of like the basics of your camera. So what goes on, what do all the buttons mean? Basically, we go through kind of the menus of the different cameras and we talk about the bare bones, the basics. But then if you want to take it a step further, you can jump into 102, which is a lot more about exposure, metering, how to actually take photos, better photos, and just by learning all the different technologies built into your camera. We also have video one-on-one. So if you were wondering how to get started with video, what is all this video frame rates and codecs, and what does all that mean? That's video 101. We're going to answer all of those questions for you. And then finally, small business marketing. Right now, there's a lot of small business owners that are not working properly or not working currently. So I wanted to just talk about a few small business marketing tips that you can put into place that cost you little to no money. So it's time to announce our contest winner for this week. So I appreciate everybody kind of joining us and staying till the end. I feel like we need to go like a little drum roll. And like I said, next week I'll have my drum roll thing on my Rodecaster. I already have it downloaded, ready to roll. We'll have a true drum roll sound effect. But this week's winner is Mr. Jim Summers. So I went through and there was a lot of awesome photos that got out there, but this is, to me, the idea of my world is, what's changed in your world. And Jim did an awesome job of saying, like, I never, this is something that I haven't done in the past, so I'm getting out there and keeping my skills sharp. And that is 100% what the goal of the weekly contest is, to get you outside of your comfort zone, get you outside and get you outside shooting. And that's exactly what Jim did. And look at this awesome photo, like perfect timing. And he had 2 that I was going to pull up. The other one was like mid-flight holding on to a fish. So, I mean, this is like a fish stabbed right in the center. So he's keeping all of his skills sharp as a action sports type of photographer with, these birds in motion. And honestly, he's doing a lot of I don't know if you did birding in the past, but like you're putting the names of the birds up and it looks like you're actually kind of getting into birds a little bit, as you cannot get out and create what you normally create. So congratulations to Jim. I appreciate you joining and playing along with our weekly gift card challenge. So just reach out to me directly and I will get you connected with how you can use that gift card. If you do have questions or you want the links from today, feel free to go to thepixelconnection.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom and you can put your email in and we'll get that sent out for you. Remember, guys, practice makes perfect. And if you have any questions for us, please let us know. You can email us at sales@thepixelconnection. You can go to our website, thepixelconnection.com, or you can jump on Facebook and Instagram, just search for The Pixel Connection. We are here to serve you. And finally, if you do need anything, you could always give us a call from 1 to 5, Monday through Saturday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome weekend. I really do. And I mean that If you have any questions for me over the weekend, feel free to shoot me a DM. Just search for TJ Houston. Pretty easy to find. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll see you.